Your circumstance doesn't define who you are. It's what you do. And I'm going to share that with you. My name is Coach Mike. I'm very grateful to be here. I sacrificed to be here. I have a job that pays me extremely well. But something touched me in my heart. I realized, look, I went through trial and tribulations in my life, but I came out amazing. And you got to know before you go in there that you're capable and ready. And that's what this is about. It's not about me. It's about everybody in this room. I could literally be in tears after I saw you guys on the weekend because little do you know what it takes to have that courage and confidence is all you need for life. Well, I'll invite you to rewind yourself. And everything you did before you did it, there was this kind of idea of, I'm not sure if it will work. But when you had the courage and you took the step and you put in the work, it always worked. So you're capable beyond measure. So we're going to dive in. So this here is the GOAT Mindset Project. So who knows what the GOAT means? Like in the sports world, when somebody says somebody's a GOAT, what does that mean? Anybody? Yes. Greatest of all time. Name some GOATs. Simone Biles. Yeah, there's one. Boom. Any other ones? Michael Jordan. That's my boy. 23. Anyone else? LeBron James. Ooh. You've been checking my Instagram because these are my people. So what makes these people great? Why are they goats? Would you say they're good at what they do? Okay. Okay. So do you feel that they were born goats? Oh, no way. So goats is something you develop over time, right? We're going to talk about it because everybody here is a goat because you have the prerequisites of goat. However, it's not what I think, it's what you think. And unfortunately, some of us minimize ourselves. Until you do something, you don't know you're capable. And that's same as me. When I started, I was born downtown Winnipeg, which I'm going to talk about, but I didn't know I was capable until everything I did that I put discipline, it worked out. So what I'm saying is there's nothing you can't do. Before you started dancing, you had questions, but you moved. So we're going to dive in. Because the GOAT stands for, in my world, it stands for G, get to know who you are, because you have to know who you are because everything you do stems from that. So it's important and imperative for you to understand you're capable beyond measure. Because I know that about you, but do you know that? And hopefully by the end of this, you're going to see that. Oh, own a goal. See, everybody here has goals, and I'm going to talk about it later. But if you don't pick one, you're getting random. But look at the times you had a goal, you attracted in your life. I could literally pause and say this. Pause right now. A lot of you are sitting in dreams you once had. Imagine I didn't ask that. Sometimes we think life is tough, right? So just remember, dream, do the work. But the goal in itself isn't powerful without a why. With a strong enough why, you can weather any storm. And that's why I'm here today, because I want to be the #1 Canadian speaker on mindset for the youth. And when I started, I was nervous to speak. Look, I didn't want to speak. I'm telling you right now, it's nothing that I'm comfortable with. But when I see my goal big enough, guess what? I have no choice. Because if you want to hit your goals, you're going to have to go in the uncomfortable zone. And we're going to talk about the uncomfortable zone because it's not so uncomfortable. Okay? The next one's act on it. It doesn't matter who you are, what beliefs you have, how powerful you think you are, what school you go to. If you don't take action, you got nothing. Because a dream without action is just a wish. But when you apply action, it's your future. And I guess I saw some of you on the showcase. You're taking action. That's why you're creating your future, right? It's not from thoughts. And the last one is trust the process. Because on the journey to your goal, you have to build character so that when you get there, you could handle it. So, what does this mean? Trial and tribulations are your friends. Without them, you don't develop character. I fell so many times, and that's why I'm on the stage today, because that allows you to know what you're capable of. Who's resilient here? Who would say they're resilient? That only comes with challenges. And who doesn't want to be resilient? We all want to be resilient, right? So sometimes we don't know that when we plant a seed for an apple tree, the apple is the last thing to come from the tree. So as long as you keep plugging in and you have discipline, you're going to reach your goal. Like I said, a lot of us are in goals right now we never even thought about. So let's dive in because we don't have too much time. Okay, this is about active learning. Take responsibility for the results here. This is not about Coach Mike. I don't get paid for this. I don't want to get paid for this. I'm here for you. I sacrificed my life for you. I'm a single person with 2 kids, and I can't even have a relationship because I don't have time to do both. Because I'm going around the country doing this stuff, And this is up to my heart. It's in my heart. So this was a goal I set in 2019, and I'm living it right now. Again, I could be in tears. So it's one thing I want you to understand. This is for you. So if something isn't clear, ask questions. You have not only my contact information with you in there, you could message me on Instagram, anything, ask questions. I'll be there to support you. 100%. Okay, that's what I signed up for. Stay positive and open to new ideas. I mean, if we have a negative mindset and you look outside and someone says, "What do you see?" "Oh, it's icy out here. When is it going to be summer?" But if you have a positive mindset, "Oh, look at the breeze, it's nice," you have a different way of looking at it. So we're going to talk about this. So again, the great aim of this information is not the information you're going to get, it's the action you take after this. So that's why I gave you notes, because you guys have a competition coming up after this, and I'm sure after this you'll be fired up because you're going to realize what you already have in you, and that's the goal of this presentation. So the first one, get to know yourself. Your self-image shapes what you believe is possible. Who do you think you are? What's your self-concept? Who knows what a self-concept is? Anybody? Self-concept, what is that? A self-concept, it's how you see yourself. It shapes your actions and everything you do. I was born downtown Winnipeg, struggling family. If I associated myself and labeled myself there, there's nothing out there. But you're going to know that where you are, it doesn't determine where you're going. So your self-concept's important. So when you look in the mirror, who do you see? And that's a big question, right? Because the other side of it is, who do you want to see? Because you could create that person. You already did. I mean, those of you who are dancing, you didn't dance before. You didn't come out of the womb and start doing the moonwalk. I don't even think Michael Jackson did that, but you worked on it. You developed it. And over time, you got better and better. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. So don't isolate it to dance. Anything you touch that you put in that work will expand. You're not just dancers. You're remarkable beyond measure. And that's important to understand, because our self-concept often didn't come from us. It came from our circumstance. It came of the injuries we had. It came of the tough times. Sometimes it's our parents or the teachers give us the self-concept. You are capable beyond measure. You have no label, but whatever you want to apply yourself to. So, why is it important? Again, because everything you do starts with who you think you are. It's like an algorithm. Whoever has social media, look at your search bar. Whatever you see showing up is where your focus is on. But as you know, you could change it. It's like an algorithm. So we have to understand that, because it's very important. Let me tell you a little about my story, because my story is nothing cute. Okay? Downtown Winnipeg, my mom's from Jamaica, my dad's from Guyana. Odds were stacked against me. Downtown Winnipeg, crime capital of Canada. Look, my decisions were drugs or no drugs, gangs or no gangs, but I made the decisions. We all have the choice to make the right decision, right? And some of us are drifting in the wrong area. So financial hardships. My only goal there was to finish school. That's it. I didn't know I had anything, but I never tied myself to my circumstances. For some reason, I always thought there was more for me. So anyways, I end up going into the auto business. I graduated from University of Manitoba. Look, I don't even know how I did it. I'm the only one in my family. But when you keep going and you have discipline, nothing could stop you. Nothing could stop you. So I kept going. I found a job in the auto business. Anyways, fast forward myself, 17 years in the business, I became the #1 finance manager in Canada. Then I knew I was capable, but little did I know before I did that, that's who I was. You're all capable. It's all what you apply. The grass is greener where you water it. I was married for 17 years, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. Life was good. 2019, I said I wanted to be the #1 Canadian speaker. I don't even know where it came from. But I felt, who would believe my story? I really have nothing to go through. Well, guess what? When you dream, you're going to see change in your life. It's going to hit you like this. Don't be scared of it. It's redirecting you where you need to be, because a lot of the things we're doing right now is not going to get us to our goal. So those major changes, if you look back in your life, that's why you're here. So what we thought was a problem was redirection. But if it didn't happen, we'd be the same. So what happened in 2019? Be careful what you wish for. It's going to come true. 2019 to 2021. 2019, I lost a job. Instantly, one day I found out. I was making $400K. $400,000 to zero. That was 2019. 2020, My wife came up to me after 17 years of marriage. I was too busy working. She said, "Look, this is over." I was, what do you mean? Done, finish, relationship done. That's the next year. 2021, my brother died. My younger brother died, drug overdose. Year after year after year. And you know what? After 2019, when I lost a job, I put myself together. I found another job. 2022, lost it again. Year after year after year after year. The guy should be crushed. But because I understand things don't happen to you, they happen for you, I still had the same personality. People are like, "Look, do you even have feelings?" Yes, I do have feelings, but if you look back in your life, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. A skillful captain wasn't made in calm waters. So if you want skills, double up the issues. That's where you get them from. So we got to consider this. So what did I learn from this? Because every time I post now, I put can't stop, won't stop. You know why? Because if you keep moving, nothing could stop somebody who keeps moving and has a direction. Look at your life. You're going to get there. So what did I learn? Where you begin does not define where you end. Some of us, look, where we're from does not define where we end. Okay? Struggles could make or break you. Whose choice do you think that is? 100%. 100%. Even in the dark seasons, 2019, 2021, small steps matter. And I'll tell you when we get to the action, the steps I made. Even in the dark seasons, small steps matter. It's not always big steps, right? And setbacks could plant seeds for breakthroughs. So your last chapter is not your destiny. So one thing it means is we're going to have to change. The thinkings and actions that got you where you are today, they're not fit to get you where you are to go tomorrow. What does that mean? Somebody in this room, what does this statement mean? The thinking and the actions that got you are today is not going to get you where you want to go tomorrow. What does it mean is if we keep doing the same thing today, how do we get to tomorrow? There's going to be some change. But change is not always comfortable, and I understand that. I understand that. I understand that. But success is not comfortable. When you start a dance, is that comfortable? No. You have to have courage. You're meeting people you don't know. You're stepping in with people you don't know. But after you step in, it all works out, right? So we got to remember change is your only way out. And that's what we need to understand. Change is your only way out, it opens doors to the next level. So if you're reluctant to change, just remember there's nothing unless you change. But change isn't as scary as it seems. So you have to understand that there's always going to be growth. I have an iPhone 17 here. How many have iPhone 17? Nobody yet? Wow. iPhone 15, iPhone 14. My point is that over time, there used to be iPhone 1, then iPhone 2, iPhone 3, up to iPhone 17. We saw the growth. A lot of us, when we came out of the womb, we couldn't walk. We moved. We're dancing. We're doing things. So we also grew physically. But imagine this iPhone 17 working on iPhone 1 software. Some of us physically grew, but we're holding on to the past. Guess what? You can't hold on to the past and hold on to your future. Something's got to drop. Something's got to drop. So it may seem scary, but that's what happens. Change opens new doors. Now, the transformative power. I remember when I was downtown Winnipeg and some of the stuff I was doing, honestly, if we look at our life, some of the stuff we're doing, like we're like, oh man, why am I doing this? I wish it could stop. Well, change, when you hit change, transforms you. It breaks old cycles. Some of us are so stuck in these patterns, we need aggressive change. That's what it does. It saves your life because some of the stuff we're doing is not getting us to growth. I found out some information recently that made me have to change even further and more discipline. So just remember the opportunity you have is a transformation power because confidence, it's not a thing. It's a receipt after courage. If you think of it before you dance, you weren't confident first. You had to have courage first. And when you stepped in and you started dancing, you saw what you're capable, confidence you earned. So you have a competition coming up. Don't wait for confidence. Have courage. And then when you see how you do, that's where confidence comes in. So just remember that. Doesn't it doesn't discriminate. Same with me. To be up here in front of you, it's courage first. Because honestly, speaking in front of people, yes, I do get nervous, but my goal is bigger than that. Is our goal bigger than our pain that we're facing? That's why you need a why. Navigating the unknown. So this comfort zone that we live in, trust me, I understand it. It's sometimes comfortable to stay where we are, even though it's not what we want. Because It's better than that scary place we don't know about. Makes sense. So we stay the same. That's why life has to force us in there. But when you really break it down and you think about it, how comfortable is it being the same? Who wants to be the same forever? Not a hand up, right? Now, check this out. Every single time you jumped into the uncomfortable zone, it gave you the hope, the desire, the change, and everything you needed. Think of that for a second. Every time you jumped into the uncomfortable zone because you're moving your hands and your feet, you get to see what you're capable. That's where the comfort is. Do not be fooled from comfort. If you're uncomfortable, that means it's new and you need new to grow. So don't be fooled by it. Just remember, the comfort is your discomfort. And for me to grow, I got to be discomfort. Okay? So, last, why does change matter? Because it's the only fuel for your growth. You have to change. I have to change. I have a successful business and it wasn't enough for me. I had to change because I'm scared of being comfortable because honestly, comfort, it's almost a death trap. Keep moving, keep moving. So, $20 in my pocket, right? How much is this worth? Okay, not rocket science, right? Okay, I want to do something quick. Now, how much is it worth? Still? Okay. Now, we're not trying to crush money. This is just an example. Who could step on this for a second? Anybody? Yeah, come step on it. Whoever's first. Step on money. Yeah. Okay, there you go. You can have a seat now. Okay, how much is this worth? Things are going to happen to you in life. You're going to get stepped on. You're going to get crushed. Your value never changes. Never changes. Doesn't matter what happened to you, your value never changes. Could you believe that? Never changes. To learn skills, you're going to have rough moments, but your value never changes. Thank you for volunteering. Maybe we'll have some quicker volunteers next time. Jumping from the back forward. So, what happened to the projector, though? Oh, okay. Here, let me see if I. Sorry about that. So, what am I saying? Your value never changes. When you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Okay, so when some of us get squeezed, what comes out? Is it frustration and stuff? Because these are the things we got to work on, right? Because when you think of a diamond, I love my diamonds. Pressure is what it's born from. Look at you. I saw you guys at the showcase. It's pressure is what makes you, right? A skillful captain was never made in calm waters. So if you want the skills, you're going to have to get bumped around a bit. Look, somebody who makes no mistakes makes nothing. Tell you that right now. So this is something we got to dive into. And dirt washes off. Failure is not forever. So I want to talk a little bit about rewiring your brain because a lot of us, doesn't matter what words are shared. It's like this feeling of this self-talk in our head. So just remember, our life, we have one experience, and it was designed to build us, not break us. But when you look from it from there, it looks like, oh, life is harsh. So when we look out, it looks like, okay, we're always hedging ourselves. We're always concerned about this. So just remember our one life experience. That's all we have. So whenever we're faced with a situation, what we know is trying to find a calm in what we know versus what we see. And it's hard to figure out. Do you know that sometimes you're talking to yourself? You'll be saying, hey, I think I should go to practice. Maybe not. I'm tired. I think I should. This self talk, you're actually the higher coach. You could hear the self talk. I could say, scream in your inside voice. You just did. You know that's not real, your thoughts? Imagine clouds are going by. That's what your thoughts are. Some of us were grabbing. If I went to the keg and I saw some restaurant, the keg, and I saw someone had a steak dinner and it's so good, I'm like, I love that dish. I wouldn't go take the dish and eat the dish. I'll keep it in my head. So some of us, when those thoughts come in, somebody says you're wonderful, we're not taking that. But we see some situation of fear, we're grabbing at. Remember, it's your choice what thoughts you want to take. They're not you. You could just acknowledge them and let them breeze by. So just remember that that's not you. So your thoughts don't define you. Now the beautiful thing is, here's proof you could change. Scientifically, you could change. So if you go to your favorite park and you walk the path in your park, you notice that it's easy to walk because there are lines etched out from people walking for years and years and years. So you can walk that park, you won't get lost. Very simple, easy. Same with our brain. When you keep doing things on repeat, it creates connections. And those connections become permanent and they make things happen on autopilot for us. So if I was going down that park path and I wanted to create a new path, I have to walk on grass for a bit to create it. So in your mind, as you think of new things, you create these new connections. And if you do it over time, they say 20 days to 90 days, you create new connections that are autopilot. Some of the things you used to do in the past, you used to think about, but you've been doing so many things, especially when it comes to dance, you're not even thinking about that stuff because you created those. Keep creating those pathways in your brain. Your brain could grow. Okay? And how to reprogram. Just when you have a negative thought, just think of it for a second. Acknowledge it. You realize that it's just trying to find comfort. Your higher coach knows what's better. When you do math and you give the teacher the answer to the math equation, do they want the answer or they want to see the work you did to get there? Okay, they want to see the work. So whenever you have the idea of fear come in, produce the work of why it's there. You realize you got to make up stories. Now here's another thing. We're 1 out of 8 billion people on this planet. 8 billion. So if you actually look forward, you can't connect the dots. But if you look back, we always had fear. Your worst case scenarios never happened. Your fear is hard. Fear is a liar. So if you don't look back and don't reflect, you're going forward in this fear. But when you look back, look, fear was never, it was never a real thing. The things that didn't happen in our favor worked. So you got to trust that process. So just remember, at the end of the day, when you see these ideas of fear, produce the math. You realize, oh, I'm going to still move anyways because fear is not real. Now, if there's a lion in front of you, you better run. But a lot of this stuff is kitty cat stuff. It's ideas. It's our self-concept. It's stuff we believe to be true. We could always adjust that. And change is real. You can see it in your brain. Okay, so what's this nasty creep that comes in when we're trying to perform and you're on the stage? I call them gremlins because they show up right at the time when you're going to perform. Then you feel, oh, am I good enough? I hope I execute. All this stuff comes at the time of that you need to be on your best. Well, they're called gremlins. Why? Because I'm not good enough. I never succeeded. They usually came from a long time ago. We're just carrying them forward. Say I'm 4 years old and I do 1 plus 1 is 3. And the teacher's like, no, that's not the case. Try again. 1 plus 1 is 4. You'll never be good at math. All of a sudden we grow up. We think we're not good at math. We don't touch anything to do with math. Some of the concepts we have, they're from back in the days. We grew out of that. You need to revisit this stuff. You need to ask yourself, who told me that and why is it still true? And you'll realize that, look, we're labeling ourselves. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. The story you tell yourself is the story that's real. Some people, we know people out there who's magnificent, but they're going to tell you, no, not me, not me. We got to be careful of that, right? Assumptions, assuming history will repeat itself. I failed before, so I'll fail again. People like me don't make it. Ask yourself, does your past really define the future? Or is it something you learn from? You got to fail to grow. Like, whoever doesn't fail, like I said, whoever makes no mistakes makes nothing. It's your growth because you learn from it, right? Interpretations. They didn't pick me, so I'm not good enough. It's the story that we create. We see something and we create the whole backstory. And then we believe it to be true. We have to ask ourselves, what's another way of seeing this? Remember I said we're 1 out of 8 billion. Everybody has multiple ideas. So technically, there's billions of ideas. Whenever we lock into fear, we chose 1 out of billions. That's why it's always wrong. So just remember that. Be careful. Be careful. And limiting beliefs, anything we believe to be true that limits us. So what happens when you have this stuff? These gales come in. When you're going to perform and you feel this gremlin creeping up on you, what do you replace it with? Well, you replace it with hope. Hope. What does hope means? When this gremlin, I'm not good enough, you have to say, what's the honest truth? My voice is saying, no, I'm not enough. The truth is I'm good and I'm growing. You're growing. Okay? When this assumptions comes up, oh, history will repeat itself, have an opportunity mindset. My past doesn't determine my future. How could it? Doesn't make sense. Right? Interpretations, perspective. You got to see setbacks as lessons. They give you lessons for growth. Okay? And the limiting beliefs, empowering beliefs, you want to replace those with. Now, all this information, it's a lot to absorb today, right? So the idea is to share you enough perspectives so that you're inside and you might feel a little discomfort in there because that's going to provoke change. And if you reach out to Jess, I have all these slides that you guys could have. So don't worry about having them again. But this is more for you to just get different perspectives for now so that interior could feel. Because when we don't take care of our life, we start to drift. And what's drift? Drifting is someone living without clear direction. It's like scrolling through social media and making no posts. After you just feel like, oh, nothing got accomplished. Just scrolling on somebody else's dreams, right? So you have to have a goal. So a drift trap, this is the drift trap. What does it look like? They don't have goals or direction. They float where everybody goes. Because of my goal, I couldn't even go out with some friends to have some hang out and have some food because I said, no, I got to prep for my stuff. When you have a goal, it allows you to discern, right? So a lot of us is just floating around. But when you lock into a goal like you have dance, there's certain times you can't do what the friends do because you got dance. So you got to understand that you choose, but those who are without goals, they drift. And drift isn't a good place to be. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one, which is goals. Now, before we move on, could someone tell me what stuck out for you in that first section? One or two things. 100%. Do you believe that to be true? Ooh, fire, fire. If you wait for confidence, you'll be waiting your whole life. So you're right. And if you could trust that, you'll see that that's what got you guys here today. There's things that happen to you, right? But you kept going. You can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. So owning a goal, this is important, very important. So imagine I'm blindfolded, okay? They take me to the airport and they say, Mike, you won the lottery. You could go on any plane you touch. You just can't know where it's going. So I feel around. And then I get on a plane. Where will I end up? Random. If I'm leaving from Winnipeg, I ain't end up in Hawaii. Because to go to Hawaii, you got to buy a ticket so you get connecting flights. But what if I bought a ticket to Hawaii? Where would I end up? Duh, right? So look at this. Everybody has goals here. Because if you have a specific one, you're going to get there. If not, random. So when somebody says to me, hey, man, I don't know why my life's this way. I say, where are you going? They say, what do you mean? Guess what? You got random. Rejoice. Because you didn't sign up for something. But look, when you sign up for stuff, you got it. You got it. You have to set goals because you're going to wake up one day in that dream. So goals are important. They give you clarity. So who in here has goals? Okay, great, great. Remember, everybody does. So if you have it locked in, dial into something. Or if you're not, you're dialed into the unknown. And guess what? The world got nothing for nobody with goals. You get randomness. And honestly, random is not going to serve you. So your goal is your boarding pass. It's what you need. But it's not good enough without a why, though. Without a strong why, guess what? You give up the moment that you have a little tribulations. You need a strong enough why. And the why is not always rooted in money. It's rooted in lifestyle. For me, it's rooted in purpose. Because I make a lot of money, but it's the purpose I'm seeking. And you're going to find one day money. Good luck with that. It's purpose. It's legacy. And these are the things that mean something to me. So a goal gives you purpose. And why is goal important? Because everything that you want tomorrow is going to start with a goal. And everything that you see, whether your shirt, your pants, the routine, started with somebody's goal. So I did a Black History Month thing, and what I realized is Martin Luther King, he said, I have a dream. You guys know this statement? I have a dream. And I realized this. When I was downtown Winnipeg, that's all I had, a dream. All I had was a dream. Because I remember him because he had a dream when times were tough. He had a dream when everything was against him. All he wanted is equality. I'm like, how's one man going to fight for this? And when I saw that, it reminded me, no matter where I was, no matter where you are, just dream. No matter where you are, just dream because you attract things when you dream. And that is real. So what do you have to do? You have to have clear, adaptable goals. Set yourself on a target, but how you get there, be flexible. But don't take your eyes off the target. Just be flexible. Because sometimes our plan isn't the only plan. Remember, we're 1 out of 8 billion. But if you look at it, you're going to end up there if you just do the motions, okay? And stay committed. Don't quit. Don't stop. Keep your eyes on the finish line. You have a competition coming up, right? Keep your eyes on the finish line. Are you going to feel fear? Are you going to feel nervous? Of course you are, but you move through it. You move through it. You move through it. I got to move through it, right? Okay? So success starts with goals. You need to know where you are. You have to know your why. At the end of the day, you have to move. This is not optional, right? Like if you want to get where you are, it's not optional. Small steps, they lead to big improvements. And why you guys were so great at the showcase is because discipline. You guys are pros. Here's what a pro is, and here's what an amateur is. A pro comes home from school, they're tired, they don't want to practice. Guess what they do? They practice because they know they have to. Now, what's an amateur? Did I say amateur first? This is an amateur. That's a pro that I described. Okay? A pro comes home from school, tired, doesn't want to do it. They still do it because they know they had a goal. An amateur comes home from school, doesn't want to do it, so they don't do it. What's in it for the person who doesn't have discipline? What's for that person? But everyone here who has discipline, you saw yourself at the showcase. I saw some of you after you're done in the corner, huffing and puffing. You see what it takes to be great? It's not comfort, but I'm sure you felt good after that, right? So we got to consider it because I love this statement. A dream without a plan is just a wish. But when you add action, it's your future. It's your future. And you have to know this because, honestly, I'm dedicated to this, but you might not hear this message again, guys. Real talk. I'm serious. Because you got to live it in a certain way to share it this way. So just remember what you're getting here. If you ask for more, you're going to get the opportunity for more through this talk, okay? Okay, so goal setting in action. Look at your life. All you did was set a destination, despite how you felt, okay, set a destination, know your why, and did what you thought you needed to do, and you attracted it in your life to the point where I have to say, pause, you're sitting in dreams you once had. It comes so quick. It's actually like, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. This was a dream one day. So what do? Set a destination, write down a goal. One for this month, one for your future. You got to set a destination. If you don't, you have the random one. Just remember that. Tell your brain what it wants or get the random. We don't want random. Know your why. Link it to something powerful. Link it to something powerful that's going to make you weather the storm. Because look, Coach Mike has fear, guys, but I move through it. I have a 10-year-old daughter. She could make me tear up because she does the same thing. She moves through it because she knows this stuff. This not good comfort feelings you're going to have. You're still going to feel it. But the difference between the ones who succeed is the ones who move through it. Athletes do it. Everybody has to do it, right? And last is the power of attraction. You got to visualize it. It's like an algorithm. Literally, you attract everything that you think of. You attract it. You attract it so bad that I'm going to show you this next slide. Those who focus on fear, they see problems. Those who focus on growth, they see opportunities. Now, what I saw in the showcase, those who focus on action, you see progress. And I'm sure you guys see yourself progressing. From when you started to now, you developed yourself. It didn't come cheap. It came with pain. I know, I can understand that. So what you hear, what you watch, who you hang out with, you choose, but that becomes your reality. So be careful. Be careful. Because a lot of us, we're scared of failure. And I could understand that because we're human, right? We don't want to fail. So here's what FAIL stands for. Fear, avoidance, insecurity, and limiting beliefs. Remember I said the person who makes no mistakes makes nothing. If you want to double your success, double your failure because you learn from it. So what is fear? I'm not enough. Again, avoidance. I'll start tomorrow. Insecurities, limiting beliefs. Look, ask yourself, what would I do if I went on that other side of fear? Who would I be? And this is the person we need to fight for. Our future self is dying for us to make that move. It's our future self who do it for. Avoidance. Instead of avoiding, what can I do today that moves me forward? Anything, just one thing. Because yesterday doesn't exist. Tomorrow you'll never see. You're always in the moment. So if you don't do it now, what are you gonna when are you gonna do it, right? Limiting insecurities. What skill can I build instead of doubting myself? And the last is limiting beliefs. What belief would help me become stronger? So when you have this feeling of fail, just remember your goal. Just remember your goal. Why? Because when fear hits you, just remember, look, my goal gives me direction. It keeps me from drifting. Look, I don't care about this feeling. This is what I'm tied into. The O in goal, it's organized because a goal could be scary, this big goal. But guess what? Organized means you could break it down into small steps. It's a little bit, a step at a time, house brick by brick. Your dance career, stage by stage. day by day, but it will come. If I plant a seed for a rose right now in the wintertime, eventually that rose will come. So just remember that. Alignment. Whenever you have the insecurity, oh, I'm not good enough. Look, my goal aligns me. It's the only thing that reflects who I want to be. I got to stick to that. Because again, you're going to get these thoughts creep up at your worst moments. And the last is the lift. When you have limiting belief, you got to lift yourself up. You know why? Nobody can. They can't. If somebody doesn't lift you up, who's going to do it? Someone's not going to come and lift you up. But guess what? You have the power. Why would someone lift you up when you have 2 hands, 2 feet, and a heartbeat in the brain? No, you just got to change your thinking, because whatever you think is what becomes your reality. Do you know what? If you disregard everything and you just took action, you'll bump your way into success. Some of us have brilliant ideas and things we want to do, but guess what? We don't take action. You got nothing but an idea. It's all about action. Adults do it as well. Like, they'll talk about stuff, but you don't see action. Nothing changes without action. So action is important. So you got to say, if you don't start now, when are you going to do it? Because your future is asking you for it. Your development's asking you for it. So why is action important? Because small daily actions, they stack up, and that creates your reality. One brick at a time. One brick at a time. So let me talk about my story, because I don't want to leave you guys with no doom and gloom story. Because at the end of the day, when I grew up in Winnipeg, downtown, my only action here that I focused on was show up to class daily. And despite the challenges, keep moving. That's it. That's it. Guess what? I graduated from university. I can't even believe it, man. I can't, because I know what I was facing, okay? But I had a goal, and I took the action. Okay? Dreams don't do nothing. It's the action. Okay? So 2019, when I got separated, well, when I lost my job, I created my own training business. I mean, my own training company, my own training material. My brother died. I said I'm going to start speaking in front of the youth so I could save another life. If he didn't die, I wouldn't be here. Talk about turning your pain into purpose. Okay? When my wife, when she left, I thought, look, sometimes you try to communicate with people and you just don't get along. So you can't say stuff because someone might take it personal and back and forth. So you just clam up so you don't say nothing. You're not authentic. So this gave me a chance to be authentic. Yo, people say I'm loud. I'm saying, yep. That's why I had to start my own business now. No one can tell me be quiet. So again, turning your pain into purpose. Okay? 2022, when I lost my job again, I said, you want me to start my business now so no one has no control over me. I started my business. I run a successful business. Look, if things didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be where I am, and I love where I am. So just remember, things don't happen to you. They literally happen for you if you have the right lens. Okay? And 2025, I'm now showing up. And if I didn't have those trials, if I didn't turn them, I wouldn't be here. So you guys have to fight through these, because there's people in your life who you're going to inspire. So you got to pave the path for them. And you're doing that already. What I saw in the showcase, the courage it takes to do that, if you follow that through life, that's all you need. The skills will come. The people will come. So what did I learn? Dreams stay dreams until you act. Every action plants seeds for tomorrow. Every little action. The things you did in the past is why you're able to do what you're able to do today. And consistency beats intensity. So, what am I saying here? You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great, no? Who agrees with that? Who's ever great from the start? This does not make sense. Sometimes we have these so high standards that I don't want to start unless I'm great. Well, not even Michael Jordan was great. Not even nobody in this room was great before they started. But you had the prerequisites. You're amazing beyond measure to where you want to focus on grows. So nobody posts perfect on the first day. And I say this because I started a TikTok account. Look, I'm 46, man. I ain't the TikTok crowd. So I'm just thinking, and look, I have this policy: shoot first, then aim after. So I made a post. Look nasty. Let's just be real. But over time, it gets better. So at the end of the day, we got to understand that, look, greatness starts by starting. It's not by being great. And some of us are waiting for motivation. Scrap that. Motivation, it's not a consistent thing. How many of us motivated to come to dance practice every day? Not everyone. So just remember, though, when you show up, though, motivation comes. So motion creates motivation. When you take action, when I don't want to go to the gym, strap on my shoes. I say I'm going to go to stretch. All of a sudden, I'm doing the whole routine. So trick yourself. Take motion, because motion and movement creates motivation. If you're waiting for the feeling, you ain't going to have it. That feeling's going to keep you stuck. So anytime you feel stuck, just move. Just move. Okay? Stop waiting. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start. That's it. Everything else will follow. So, success requires action. Discipline is a form of self love. So, discipline is something you don't find all the way, but I guaranteed will tell you that discipline is a choice and we all have it. So, I want to give an example. If you had a goldfish, I'm talking a goldfish, like this size, goldfish. And the goldfish was your favorite fish. And you went to the what's it called? The fish tank. And you saw the fish was just swimming a little funny, right? The neck was turning like this. So you took the whole tank and you brought it to the vet and look, my fish, what could I do? And the person, the vet said, give your fish these 2 pieces of food every 2 hours. And your fish will be okay. And you have to do that for a week. Now you got school, you got dance practice, you have all this stuff. Are you going to find a way to get that fish the food? Of course, eh? You do anything for it. Guess what? That's what discipline is. But some of us, we tell ourselves we're going to do stuff and we don't do it. You mean you'd feed the fish, but you won't show up for yourself? A fish? Aren't we worth more than a fish? So your future wants you to feed yourself. You're more than a fish, but we do it for everybody else. But for us, we want to skip a few things. Look, greatness doesn't come that way. Not even for me. When I started speaking, I said, I don't know if I could do it because I don't have any discipline in my life. I started a workout routine. March 2nd, 2020, I said I'm going to go every second day for a year. I end up doing it up to now. I didn't miss one day because if I couldn't do it, I'll double up. Here's why. If you can't do the things you say you're going to do, there's nothing big for that person because there's discomfort. There's times where you don't want to go to practice, but you go to get your skills up. But here's the token. If you can do what you say you're going to do, anything is for you. You decide. Anything. 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 Before you were dancers, you weren't dancers. Remember that. You put in the work, and then you became. So just remember that. So goals, they have to be unlocked only through action. We're thinking someday this is going to happen. Actions turns someday into success. And there's only one way to turn your dreams into reality. So what do? You have to have a plan. Prioritize your actions, okay? You have to do the stuff that matters most. If being a dancer is your main thing, don't skip that. Skip everything else, but don't skip that because if you don't skip that, that will grow. But some of us is so busy, we're skipping that and we're doing everything else just when we're busy. So just always do your main task. Okay? Small actions compound. Now, a plan. Track your process. Stay accountable. Do you know we're getting wins? A lot of wins. But if you don't look back, you don't notice you're getting wins. We feel like life's tough. Look at your progress. And last is the feedback loop. You're going to learn things and you want to move and grow. After you see what you do that you could do better, use it as a catalyst to see what you could change. Because it's all about growth. So you have to rewire your brain. And I'm just going to talk about a few slides in this one because discipline is something I always mention. Because how you show up, it means a lot. If you have to go to practice, you're like, oh, I got to go to practice. You're seeing it as an obligation. You know, discipline is your only way out from anything. That's an opportunity, but some of us see it as an obligation. Oh, I got to go to practice. That's your way out. That's your way out. That's your only way out. So when discipline comes, just remember, it gives you freedom. Those who are disciplined, they could choose. Neuroplasticity. Every time you move, you're programming your brain for more. Confidence. We talked about that. It's courage first. It's courage first. If there's one thing you want to take away here, courage before confidence always. Fight the fight. And last but not least, consistency, not intensity. A little bit over time stacks up. Everyday discipline stacks up. It's not these big old days. It's discipline. So what's going to happen? You're going to see fear. You're going to feel it. We spoke about it. What does fear mean? False evidence appearing as real. So many people. If you look at all the people that are in graves right now, times it by 50,000, that's how many people die from their fear. If you let fear overcome you, you bought a story. Our worst fears don't show up. You bought a story. Remember what you're buying. Are you buying your future or are you buying a story? Because you're going to feel fear. Walk through it. Okay? Failure, excuses, accountability, resistance. We're scared of failure. It teaches you. There's a lesson to be learned. Excuses. Look, you got to ask yourself, what could I do today instead of making an excuse? Accountability. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming people. When you blame somebody for something, they're running around with it. You can never change it. But if you blame the way you see it and say, hey, look, why am I holding on to that energy? This person is this person. Leave it alone. You own your power. Stop holding on to what they did to you, because at the end of the day, look, it happened, but how you see it is going to create that tie or not tie. We got to not be attached to certain things. It's not our energy to hold. It's our choice to hold it or not. Not saying it's easy, but at the end of the day, if you don't, you're going to be holding on to it. So when this stuff creeps up, again, like I said, move. Just move. Move. Mindset. Make sure you know failure is not an option. I can't gets replaced with I could learn. Excuses. Own that stuff. Own how you react to it. Own how you feel. Accountability. Have a vision. Follow your vision. And when it comes to resistance, you got to put in effort. All you need is effort. And just a little bit, it adds up. Okay? So we're on to our last one. So timing is beautiful. Before we move on, please let me know, what did you capture from that piece? Yes. 100%. Do you see that in your life? You darn right. Good point. Yes. Hey, you know what? Look back in your life at the trial and tribulations and look at the skills you have today. They don't come cheap. Man, you guys, look, honestly, if you could apply this stuff, look, life is going to be, if you do stuff in life that's hard, life becomes easier. If you do stuff in life that's easy, life becomes hard. These are the hard choices you make now so you can live a future. I saw someone's hand over here. Yes. Ooh, fire. Fire. Someone bring the fire truck. No, that's fire. Yes. Do you agree with that? Okay. Yes. Look, if you guys could take what you're saying right now, I tell you right now, there's no issues. You're going to face trials and tribulations, but you're going to always see growth and skill development, because you have to be the character to be at that end stage that you want to be. And two more, yes. 100%. Have you done that in your life? Yeah, continue doing that. And it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. For people to look up to you, you got to be bruised and battered, but guess what? You walk differently because you saw it built you. So 100%. Okay, thank you for sharing, everyone. That's great. This is the last session because this is all going to tie into you. You have a competition coming up, okay? And you got to own it, right? There's a word called grit. Grit means you're walking through it all. I define it a little different. All fingers are pointing at you. Growth, resilience, insights, and trust in the process. Growth. Do you have a growth mindset? Because everything starts when you believe you could grow. If you believe you could grow, look, you got something there. Because some of us believe we're just born the way we are and we can't move. So that's important. Now, our resilience. How many people said they're resilient? We had that, right? When you get knocked down, can you get up? Because you're going to need that. Okay? Insights. The powers in our patterns. Some of us are repeating stuff that if we actually look back, we'll see, that's why I'm not where I need to be. So insights is looking back. And the last one is trusting the process. The reason why the power is in your hand, we spoke about the goats. We spoke about what made the goats they have, who they are. You all have these prerequisites. This is what the goats carry. This is what the goats carry. Right? It's simple and plain when you break it down. So growth mindset versus fixed mindset. A fixed mindset feels that the way I was born, my circumstance, this is it. This is all for me. Whereas a growth mindset feels like, look, I could develop if I put time in and effort. I'm not there right now, but of course you can't be great to be start, but you got to start to be great. So if I start and I start plugging away, I'll get there. Just like your routine, you didn't come out of the womb doing the moonwalk, right? Out of the womb. You like my moonwalk? Okay, no autographs, please. Fixed mindset believe that their talents, intelligence are set in stone. They feel that they avoid challenges because they want to look smart. They don't want to be embarrassed. Now let's talk about that growth mindset person. They seek challenges for improvement. Make me drop. Turn my pain into purpose. Okay? They see setbacks as a chance to learn. A skillful captain wasn't made in calm waters. Tell me when you learn if it's not from making a mistake. It's usually from a mistake because in the good times we're hardly picking up books. Right? So just remember that, right? So it's important. Now, Let's talk about resilience. It's the fuel that keeps you moving forward. We said we're resilient. Remember, resilient, to say that word comes at a price. You conquer challenges, but I would not take away my resilience. If you look at the word resilience you had, and I showed you the problems that came to make that, you'll probably say, keep the problems because I want to own this. You're damn right. Comes at a price, right? So, what challenges have you faced that made you stronger? Look back in your life, they make you stronger. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. We said it over here, right? So, why does resilience matter? Because every goal has challenges. Everyone. My goals have challenges. Coach Mike, nervous all the time, but I made a goal. My head is the CEO, my body is the employee. You get out there. I don't care if you don't feel it, get out there. And when you come back, I'll cuddle you up and make sure you feel good. But after, it doesn't really happen that way because I end up feeling good after you do what you do, right? So you got to throw yourself out there. I saw you guys at the showcase, and my daughter, she saw me drop a tear because I'm like, whoa, they have what it takes. They have what it takes because it's courage. It's courage. You have what it takes. And insights. I love this one. This is how powerful we are. So I talked about our one life that we lived, and there's a lot of tribulations in some of it, but that was to develop skills. So how we see the world is tough because we face that. So how do you see bright future? All you see is, okay, I hope nothing else happens, right? So let's just pretend that we have an orange set of glasses. That's our life. Boom. Everything we will look through has an orange tinge on it. Everything, because it's through our life experience. Here's how amazing we are. See all these different colored glasses? You could invite them in your life. You could say, let me take the gratitude lens and put it on and look at your situation from gratitude. Some of us is asking for more, but we're not grateful for what we already have. But when you start to look grateful, you know what you start seeing? You see progress, you see change, you see, okay, I see the beauty in that. Now, take the other lens. One lens could be awareness. You put on the awareness lens. Look, my patterns aren't getting me where I want to go. My goal is over here, but I'm doing this. I can never get there, but if I change this and change that, ah, we got to look at what we're doing because some of what we're doing is not getting us to our goals. It's a wish, remember? A goal without action is a wish, but when you add action, it's your future. But you had to look back to do that, right? That's why I look back and I notice that there's this hand. It's beautiful. If you set a destination and you just do what you think you need to do, you attract everything. People come, resources come. One day you're waking up in your dream. It's amazing. And the last one is life is the boot camp. Oh, you betcha. Because we need to develop character. So you're going to have tough people around you. Guess what? Give them love. They're training you. Because some of us are so reactive. Someone says 1 + 1 is 7, and we're like, no, it's not. And we're arguing with them. I have a policy. Someone says 1 + 1 is something else. No, 1 + 1 is 2. Look, check the calculator. And if they say no, 1 + 1 is 7, hey, no problem. How's that working for you? You got to let it go. Because the places you're going, you can't be fighting everything people are saying. So you notice that the tough people in your life, they're training you to keep your energy, right? Because where you're going, when you're a top dancer and people are criticizing you, you can't bark at them. So just remember, the tough times, they make you. A skillful captain was not made in calm water. And some of us are playing it safe. A ship at port is safe. Was that what a ship was made for? Imagine a brand new plane sitting on the floor. Was it made to stay there? You're made to fly. So you got to fly. You have a competition. Fly. Fly. Now, nobody turn into birds here, please. Okay? We don't need no chirping going on. Okay, so trust the process that builds you. When you plant a seed for the fruit, say I planted an apple seed, what's the last thing to come from the tree? Okay, so there's a process. When a baby comes out of the womb, it has to fall before it walks. Nothing is overnight. There's no microwave stuff. To be good dancers, like I saw at the showcase, did that happen after one routine? Okay. But we talked about the goats, and the goats were built the same way you built what you built. Keep building, keep applying yourself. The seasons change. You're going to be in dark seasons where you just can't see anything. Small steps matter. Dark seasons are good for reflection. They allow you to look in, but they're not who you are. You're capable beyond measure, but you still got to move through them, right? And comfort zone versus uncomfortable zone, we talk about this. It's not so comfortable saying the same, but every time you jump to that uncomfortable zone, that's where life happens. That's where you move. That's where you meet new people. But over time, we lose that, and we don't want to lose that. Okay. So we have a few more slides, maybe two more, and we're done. Right on time. So, in all, give yourself some grace, please. Some of us, we expect so much from ourselves that if we don't execute it, we crush ourselves for weeks. Give yourself some love and grace. Because if we treated people the way we treated ourselves, we'd be locked up. We'd be all locked up, including myself. Give yourself some grace, please. The same way you give a friend grace. You're learning and growing, right? Don't beat yourself up. Progress takes time. So let me wrap it up, and then I have a few more slides that I want you guys to fill out one sheet. So go, greatest of all time. Greatness starts with you. Get to know yourself. We talked about that. Your self-image determines your limits. Own your goal. You got to own it with a strong enough why. You'll weather the storm. Act on it. Action builds confidence and momentum, and trust the process as consistency over time grows. So I want to leave you with a few statements. Your mindset is your greatest tool that you have right now. And depending, everything stems from that. So you got to keep that clean and keep that safe. And anytime a negative thought comes in, you replace it with a new one because you have that power, right? So Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right. So be careful when you say you can't do something. Be careful, right? And Winston Churchill, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the ability to continue going on when you feel crushed. And I'm not immune to that. There's no immunity, Mike. I'll tell you that right now. Be your own GOAT, the greatest version of yourself. So before we end, I have a sheet here because I feel like it's all about transformation. You guys filled this out on your own time, some of you, great. But today there's another one because I believe you want to take ideas and bring them to the physical. So take 3 things you took from here, write it down, write down the action you're going to take and when you're going to start. This is just for you. And this is your first thing that you might do in your life to start that up. But you're taking ideas and bringing it to the physical. And after that, we're going to be done. I really appreciate your time, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share and stretch myself so I can reach my goal as well. So thank you. Thank you. Okay? So thank you very much.